Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Dale Hawthorne. This is going to be a departure from my usual style of videos, usual subject matter in some ways, but it's something I've been thinking about for a while since I came across this one book. The basic question: how much unfair labeling of young men as creeps and losers happens in adolescence, perhaps in high school, in their social circles there, and how much of a real impediment is it to them? This kind of secret blackballing from dating, engagement, and marriage. I'm not usually a manosphere type of guy, but I've been thinking about this lately. And if you want to talk about more of my videos, check them out, and please click like and subscribe. But I'm going to be asking at the end of this video for comments on this. I usually don't go all that in for comments because I'm retired and because I don't have time to police a lot of comments, and I really don't want anyone using this as a place to insult others and things like that. And if I find people trying to redirect people to channels which I consider false teaching, stuff like that, I usually do remove those comments and block those people from the site. But um, really, this consideration, this can go back really quite far. Let's see. Because this is a Christian channel, I'm going to refer to the Bible here, Judges chapter 21. And the tribe of Benjamin had done some really depraved things, and the rest of Israel had gone to war with them. And now the men of Israel had sworn at Mizpah, not one of us shall give his daughter in marriage to Benjamin, to anyone from a Benjamite. And they regretted this. They wept bitterly, and they, um, um, with all this deep regret, they had to resort to a subterfuge to escape the consequences of a rash vow. And we can continue on with biblical history and say that, yeah, Saul, who was from the line of Benjamin, also had um, to resort to subterfuge to escape the consequences of a rash vow. But yeah, sometimes people do stuff like this, and I think it does go back in a lot more places, a lot more times, and people, young men, may have some kind of impediment that they don't really know to dating, engagement, and marriage, perhaps within a certain little social circle. Um, One of the books which reminded me about this, I had seen an incident in the um, series Roseanne years ago where Tom Arnold, who was playing a friend of theirs named Arnie, and Roseanne said that she and her friends had vowed together that he was not going to reproduce, but he ended up with Roseanne's sister, but for a little while. But yeah, the Land of the Losers book um, brought me into realizing that, yeah, we don't know who that's by. It's about a young man who some of the problems he's had with dating relationships over the years, coming out of the Land of the Losers, and he thought that back in high school that might have possibly happened that he was blackballed from dating, engagement, and marriage by the girls there. And he definitely was more successful in finding dates um, and relationships with women after he left that environment. So the big question: when someone puts a guy into a friend zone, does the friend zone mean that that's a creep zone? He's labeled not as a friend, but also a creep among other women, a jerk, or someone to toy with, exploit, and keep on friend zoning, and no dating labels have been put upon him. Does that happen as a permanent friend zone, permanent creep zone, permanent jerk zone? And I don't know. I do think that this does happen more often, many times than people may realize. There's a conspiracy, deprivation to gang up on a man behind his back to deny dates and relationships to him. Maybe a social circle with women, uh, a certain group of women who might have a covert conspiracy to entice him into such a situation to deprive him of dates, but yet to try to find ways to exploit him, even so, to make him think that he's going to receive some sort of connection and benefit of a real relationship, but then disappoint him at the same time once they have whatever they're trying to extract from him. So perhaps we may call this having had a "Don't Date Him" sign painted on his back, and maybe other ostracisms happen to him. Maybe it's as if he has a creep label that's been um, put on his back, especially if some of these women pathologize men when they're going into adolescence, develop an interest in women, and they put him, they split the, like mature people do, they put approved people, goody, depraved, disapproved people, depraved, and bad people. So he may actually have a lot of things going for him, but somehow, some people have conspired together to put a "Don't date him" sign and a creep label on him. And a strange symptom, I think, which I've heard about. Some dating advice does say, for men, if you're having trouble in a certain social circle, go outside it. And yeah, this may happen that if a person starts to have, especially a guy starts to have more success finding dates, making relationships outside what had been a primary social circle for him. Maybe there's someone within that social circle that has a grudge. He labeled him a creep behind his back and warns others off to keep this person from finding dates, relationships, and perhaps even marriage, so that eventually he'll find himself, um, after a long time, wondering why, if he's been seeking to find a relationship within his circle, finding so little success. And it can actually be a real kind of petty vindictiveness, I think. To me, it's the kind of thing that a woman might do to a guy, a woman with a grudge, to try to label him in this way, because marriage, there is a real competition for marriage relationships among women that I've seen over the years. So, a way really to try to bring a man down would be to deprive him in this way. So, I like to consider this, and yeah, this is kind of a picture I came up with. This is where they try to put you in the clowns, the creeps. So, continuing onward, what do we do if we find ourselves here? The best advice, I think, most definite advice is definitely, if you're not having much success or any success in a certain social circle, maybe your primary, the people you know, you grew up with or around there, um, maybe you're not finding much or any success there. Continue to work on your own goals and self-improvement. Basically, the advice generally is go to the gym, get your personal grooming together, you dress together, and dress well, and things like that, and learn some etiquette and how to deal with women. But also go outside that social circle and build your own social circle, certainly, but look for others, make contacts, try to make relationships outside that. And the second thing I can think of, consider this in your own upbringing. Were you groomed to be a son, husband? Are you a nice guy? Did your mother try to make you into a surrogate husband, basically? Or even more, this can also happen if a guy is seen as weak, often a scapegoat in the family, the school, the workplace, target of bullying, and they see and scout out your vulnerability in all three situations. You find yourself a scapegoat, someone who's being constantly bullied, and perhaps even if you're a man who's employable outside college, are you finding yourself constantly unemployed and underemployed compared to your qualifications? That could be a symptom of being in that situation. I would call it the masculine problems of. I had a good name for it, but I'll bring it up in another video. Where these things go together: nice guy, son, husband, scapegoat, bullied, and often underemployed. Where they all go together. Maybe you're in that situation too, where you're having difficulty making outside that type of a social circle. Maybe if you try to go, they try to bring you back, bring you back. So that could happen. So consider that. Again, if you got a false reputation in a group, if people are treating you badly even though you've done nothing wrong, look for a determined enemy. And there can be often, sometimes people take, um, take offense at something very, very small, and they keep on with a very unwarranted and asymmetrical hate. Maybe that's being directed at you. Maybe there's a frenemy also in your life, someone who's been around for a long time, someone who acts sometimes as a friend, and sometimes you realize that some from things they may say to you, say about you, that they don't get, have a very high opinion of you in some ways. So take a look to see if there you have some sort of false reputation in that group. Look for a determined enemy or maybe a frenemy, someone who's masking themselves as a friend but is selling you out behind your back. And fourth thing, seek to form your own social circle as much as possible. A place where you can have others over, where you can talk with them, where you can work with them. If you're living at home, you may need to deal with your parents in that case. Uh, and especially look at them if there's pushback in this way, because um, if they try to keep you from having your friends over, son, husband, scapegoat. So, final question for consideration for everyone: when does a man begin to get to emerge from the friend zone? When does and what can be done? Is a person once a creep, always a creep? Is this a permanent label? And maybe the people who put out this type of a social fatwa on someone will never change. They're too much invested in that false social image they created of someone that they hated. But yeah, I think there's sometimes, a lot of times, in fact, you can come from this. One of the um, more recent ones, which we can look to, a popular movie, Iron Man 3. Yeah, I like the Marvel movies myself, big whoop. Um, Guy Pearce played Aldrich Killian, was someone who um, seemed to progress in his physical therapy and his ability to carry himself with confidence, ability to dress, and dealt with his haircut and everything like that. And so, yeah, Guy Pearce did a great job in playing the before and after of Aldrich Killian. And of course, if you watch the movie, you'll find out about him. But that their guys can emerge from the creep zone at least externally in the way that they deal with themselves. And again, it may mean if you want to emerge, it may be if you're still in that same old social circle which gave you that label, you may need to get out of that. And if your family is invested in that, you may need to put some distance from them. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about putting distance between you and maybe even going to no contact. Maybe you need to consider whether you've been a part of an enmeshed family. So I've heard of this happening a little bit in the lives of other men. I think it may have happened in my case, a situation with a group which I was associated with a long time ago. So my questions, we could put them in the comments, requesting comments now. Um, do you know of other cases where this has happened? And what were the consequences in the lives of those men? Did they remain single for a long time, mystified? Did it beat them down a lot? And what were the consequences in the lives of those who put the label on the men? I don't think that it necessarily is a win for them long term. Someone who has to hate someone that much, they've got what we call a hole in the soul, a disease of the soul, that would want to do that to another person. And if you're a parent, what would be your reaction if you found out that your daughter or your son had participated in putting someone into the creep zone? What would be your reaction? How would you set them straight? Would that be something you would really try to say that you're doing something to that person that is really, really awful? Which I think it is. And I think if you consider what would happen to you, if it happened to you, yeah, you consider that really awful. It's not something to laugh about or gloat about. How would you feel as a parent if this happened to your son? If you're a father or mother, if a group had put your son into the creep zone in this way, how would you feel about that? How would you feel as a sibling? Say you've got a brother or your sister, and your brother this happened to your brother, how would you feel about that? And what would your reaction be if you were married and you found out your wife had participated in this when she was in school or in one of these circles? And does anyone warn others about not doing this, not putting this label on a person, what it can do to a person? Because if you look, men who are kept single in the friend zone for a long time, that really does traumatize them. It's called rejection trauma. So these are the questions, maybe consider about it. Maybe you can go back to consider the questions all over again if this reaches you. And I'm really do have a thing on my channel about removing nasty, insulting comments. I don't want people who put their heart out to be nasty or insulted, or people who do me the grace of listening to me to be insulted by other people who come on. And I do ban the authors of that who do that, or anyone who tries to uh, use, put something, a reference into my channel as some sort of weird thing, weirder than what I might have to say. I'm not doing this as an outlet for anyone to be abused. I hope to maybe get something started here, that maybe we need to realize that there are some people who are being unfairly labeled, who there may be some apologies due their way. Maybe people realize that there is a hater back there who's done this to them and who is keeping them unnecessarily dateless, without relationships because of this. So I thank you for your time. I thank you for your attention. Again, this is a different video than what I normally do, but I hope that this does help someone. So thank you again for your attention. God